All right. So we do have football outside of this ridiculous scandal. What do you have, David?
Yeah, so a bunch of writers, I guess they're using week 10 as their bold prediction moment halfway through the season. So we did it before the season. So let's kind of see what some things boldly they're thinking of for the second half. The first one they go with is the Vikings make the playoffs. They continue their run. Justin Jefferson returns, and they make the playoffs.
Absolutely not. No. The answer is no. They won't have a better record in Dallas. They won't have a better record in Seattle. And Dobbs was a 1-week fun story. No.
I'm going to say yes.
Just to spite me.
No, because, Mike, that team, they're Lane Kiffin. They fall forward. Even when things are supposed to go bad for them, they somehow win. So, yeah, it'll come down. They'll claim that final playoff spot. And, yeah, David, they'll get spot number 7. They'll be in.
The next one, I'm going to give them together because they involve coaches. First one is Antonio Pierce will earn the Raiders head coaching job and be hired in December on a full-time basis. And then I'll tie it up with this one because this means December 3rd he will be fired. It says the Washington Commanders will fire Ron Rivera at the bye week. Their bye week is December 3rd.
I mean, look, Josh Harris, the new owner, has a right to do what he wants to do. Bieniemy's done a hell of a job with that offense, considering Sam Howell's on pace to be sacked 97 times this year. The Antonio Pierce thing, I'm going to say no. If they didn't keep Bobby Bergeau or whatever his name was a couple of years ago, was it Rich Bisaccia? He got him to the playoffs.
Yes.
He couldn't keep the job. Mark Davis is an absolute wild card. So I wouldn't even be able to begin to have that conversation.
Now, the second one was
Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera gets fired by his bye week. They have a bye week December 3rd.
Yeah, I could easily see that. I mean, they've
He'll
given
give
up.
Bieniemy a month to be the head coach.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
But the Pierce thing, no.
I think the Pierce thing happens. I think that he does because you're looking at the way the players just love him. That Davis will say,
so he's Bobby Williams. I'm not interested in
that's
one
not
game.
That's not fair.
Sure
Mike.
it is.
He's still no
Citrus Bowl.
Okay, Mike. He has more than one game. Now, if this was the final game of the year, that's Bobby Williams. He's still got the rest of the season.
Yep.
If they perform better throughout the rest of the season and they finish with a winning record, he keeps
Those
his job.
are a lot of ifs and buts. I don't think any of those are happening.
But you can't say Bobby Williams.
I'm just saying, if you're making a determination like David is, or his stupid article over there after
No,
one
it's
game.
It's a bold prediction. And yes, if they finish this second half of the season with a winning record, he keeps the job.
Okay, noted. Agree. It ain't happening. They're losing to the Jets.
Next one on the list, and I'm going to just start by saying no way this happens.
Okay.
Will Levis challenges for the Offensive Rookie of the Year?
No, C.J. Stroud's got that wrapped up. No.
Puka Nacua, 800 yards already. Jordan Addison and C.J. Stroud all are going to be far ahead.
If you want to put it in a different context and say, Will Levis by season's end will be viewed as better than Bryce Young, that's a bold prediction. Have at it.
Or it kind of is like, you know how the media latches hold to people for the Heisman race and they just start hyping them up? If Levis starts having great games, he becomes that media darling.
Yeah.
And you say, well, he's got to be challenging C.J. Stroud. I don't think it should happen, David, but I see how the avenue can happen. It can, because the right media personnel starts backing him and it just becomes a campaign for him.
Next one is specifically about the Detroit Lions and one receiver that we've talked about a lot, Jameson Williams. It says he will start to solve his issues by catching the ball and end the season with 10 receiving touchdowns.
Oh, my God.
Whoa.
You want to go first?
There's bold and then there's crazy. I'm just going to say no.
Okay, crazy's better than what I was thinking.
Come on now. You want to say he solves his issues, becomes a contributor? We're good. 10 touchdowns?
I would want to shake that person's hand and make a bet with them right here, right now. We're going to bet mortgage payments. That's how confident I am that you're going to lose.
Next one here, the Chiefs' defense is no fluke. They become the number one defense in the NFL.
Agree.
Second half of the year.
Agree. They've got the right coordinator. They got the right pieces. They're aggressive. They force TFLs and sacks and pressures. Yeah. No, the Chiefs are now a defensive football team. That's who they are.
That's scary.
I know, but it's who they are. They've evolved.
But you called me privileged.
Okay, that you know what? I deserve that.
They have evolved. Next one. This one's for the Chargers. The Chargers will get hot, win 10 games, make the playoffs, and despite the 2-4 start, Brandon Staley gets to keep his job due to the team's success.
I'll say no. I still, Herbert doesn't look right. Their performance against the Jets, come on, guys. They had like 150 yards offense. I think they lose to the Lions. I'm going to say no to that.
I don't know what the Chargers are, David. 10 games? Oh, that's a lot. But you know what? Look at the conference they play.
Rico is conflicted.
Because they're the ultimate wild. I want to see Herbert do well, but he just falls on his face. He's like the NFL version of Maryland for me. So, you know what? I'm abstaining from this.
What? Fascinating.
You can't abstain from a bold prediction?
Just fascinating.
I don't have to make it, do I?
No, you don't have to make it.
Fine.
You don't have to make it.
Fine. They'll win 10 games.
There it is.
Thank you. Next one here is about the Buffalo Bills. It says the Buffalo Bills will miss the playoffs.
I agree. And right now, they're even money to make
ninth.
it.
Yeah, they're ninth right now
Listen,
in the playoff.
It's all on Josh Allen. They don't run the football. Defensively, critical injuries at every level of the defense. I don't think they're very good. Go back to the game against the Giants. Go to this past weekend. Were they that good against Cincinnati? No, Cincinnati took Diggs away, and what do they got left? A zillion checkdowns to Dalton Kincaid. David, no, I don't think they make it.
Yeah, and it seems like the more pressure on Josh Allen, the poorly he plays in games. So now he's going to start really feeling it because they're going to be on the outside. They're not used to this
Was
spot.
it fifth straight game with an interception this past week?
I mean, they're normally fighting for home field throughout. Now they're just fighting. We'll play you anywhere. We'll go any place. We just want to be in.
They're fighting for their life right now. And let's end it with this one because we started the season on Monday night with his injury. So the bold prediction, Aaron Rodgers returns to the Jets before Christmas.
No.
All right, here's what I'll say. I don't want to pull a Rico and abstain. I can, in my mind, see a scenario where Rodgers goes right to Woody Johnson. Not to Joe Douglas, the GM, not to Robert Saleh. He goes to Woody Johnson and says, I'm good to play. I demand to play. And the Jets will have a desperation level that is very hard to understand here because it's New York.
Right.
I'm not telling you it's a good idea.
Here's where if I'm his agent, I'm like, hey, Aaron, Bubby, come here for a second. That offensive line hasn't gotten any better.
I agree with everything
you
you're
remember
saying.
the first 5 passes of the year?
I'm with David.
Let's sit this one out.
Okay. You know what? If I were his agent, I would tell him, I really don't want you flying to Brazil and doing oil-based enemas in the offseason either. But I couldn't stop that, could I?
That makes you lighter.
Got it. More aerodynamic.
Maybe that's why he'll return because he's more aerodynamic.
David, I could absolutely see a scenario. I'll say yes.
And that is in Football Today.